So I'd like to briefly share with you how we proceeded to design this interface. What you just saw, it is not a static thing. It is indeed the temporary result of a pretty long series of interactions between the different souls of the project that you see represented here by the people in this picture. There are historians, archivists, librarians, NLP specialists, engineers, designers and developers. We gather together with the ambition to design not just the Impresso app, but hopefully a novel, surely different approach to digital newspapers to make research activity faster and easier. Then how could we embrace all those different visions? We then decided to take the risk of adopting a design method, that is co-designing the interface together. So first thing to mention is that more often than not, we usually design web interfaces building on the interactions we have with the many digital interfaces we use every day. So we have library catalogs, the apps on our smartphones, projects in data visualization, but also the online newspapers that we read every day. Moreover, we are not designing for scratches because many of us are already involved in other historical projects using digitized material, or we are creating digital tools to read, parse, analyze, map, and visualize data. So first step towards the Impresso app interface is to identify the already existing working components and to put them together. So how to plot a timeline, how to display facsimiles of newspaper pages, how do we put on screen representation of name entities. Then we had to look for the many usually invisible flows of problems that makes our research longer or more difficult. The first wireframe that you see on the left then became the ground zero on which we discussed and imagined new features, like having marginalia or side notes to get a distant reading on a page, such as places or people mentions in its articles. On the right, we ask our workshop participants to fill the classical table to address strengths and weaknesses with a list of visual components displayed in the wireframe. We gather all those suggestions, the feedback that we collected during our user workshops, and that gave us an initial frame to design either usual scenarios like how to search for articles and read this content, or less common ones like how do I know if my search is complete or did I miss something? Then we put together in prototypes all those fragments of information so that we can experience it directly, whether it could work or not. This way we could decide what we want to put our effort into. In this sense, we can say that every different component of the interface has a whole story to tell, and many components have seen many transitions and other results of hours of discussion. So let's take this example. These are a couple of transitions from the initial idea of comparing items in a collection. The picture on the left comes from my own perspective as a designer on the problem, especially a designer of data visualization. And then in the center, the result after a preliminary and not satisfactory exchange with our in-house historians. Finally, the latest concept, which eventually led to the current, much complex version of inspect and compare. As you see, they are completely different, and it is probably not the last version of this component. So this is the current one. In conclusion, the main advantage of this collaborative design method is that of transparency and inclusion. At the same time, it shows that almost everything on Impresso interface is the result of a continuous dialogue between different disciplines, mediated by design tools. So, whenever discussion evolves and new ideas come into play, design must follow. Thank you.